On all charges, Cobb County father Ross Harris is now a convicted murderer. Today, jurors found him guilty on all 8 counts, including malice murder and felony murder. It took a Glynn County jury 4 days of deliberations to reach their unanimous, and some might even say shocking decision. Among those reacting tonight, Harris's ex-wife, Leanna Taylor. She posted a lengthy statement on Facebook, warning parents to be vigilant around hot cars. She writes, so-called justice will never bring back my son. Nothing will ever take that pain away. And nothing will feel worse than living with the knowledge that his pain and death could have been prevented. You can read her full statement on 11alive.com. We have team coverage from Glynn County tonight. Caitlin Ross has details of the key piece of evidence for jurors, but we begin with Duffy Dixon breaking down the verdict.
After some 20 hours of deliberation, a stunning verdict. Ross Harris found guilty of malice murder and everything else. No emotion as Ross Harris listened to the verdict, guilty on all 8 counts.
We, the jury, find as follows. Count 1, malice murder. As to count 1, we find the defendant guilty.
Jurors convinced he intentionally left his 22-month-old son, Cooper, in the back of his hot SUV to die.
From the very first day, the Cobb people, they reached out to us, said something is not right about this case. There's something wrong about this case.
The jury hearing from 70 witnesses and presented with more than 1,100 pieces of evidence, some of it hard to look at. Pictures and videos of a talkative, happy little boy, juxtaposed with the sordid details of Harris's so-called double life, sexting numerous women even on the day Cooper died, some of them underage.
The extent of, the depravity of what we saw and how somebody could be capable, and you have to accept that somebody's capable of this level of evil.
Yet Ross's ex-wife, Leanna Taylor, testified she believes what happened to little Cooper was just a tragic accident. Ross Harris's attorneys crushed by the verdict.
From the moment we met Ross Harris, we've never once wavered in our absolute belief that he's not guilty of what he's just been convicted of.
Ross Harris will be sentenced back in Cobb County on December 5th. He faces the possibility of life in prison plus 42 years.
The jurors did not want to speak publicly as they left the courthouse. This was a very long and difficult decision for them, but in the end, all 12 jurors agreed Ross Harris was guilty on all 8 counts.
They were very diligent, and speaking with them, they were almost unanimous early on.
Prosecutor Chuck Boring says all 12 jurors knew they wanted to convict Ross Harris on malice murder, but they wanted to be sure of their decision.
I really have to tip my hat to these jurors. They were honestly just amazing.
Legal expert John Phillips says the jury was clearly passionate about their decision, and this was an emotional case.
A jury will react with their hearts, and there were parents on this jury, and you had a tragic loss of a child, and it wasn't just whether or not the dad, Mr. Harris, was guilty of that, but it was some of the sexting allegations, and it was just so morose that I think they would have, if there had been more charges, they'd have probably found them guilty of that as well.
At the end of the trial, the judge thanked the jurors for their diligence during this trial. She said she would keep them informed as to what the sentencing was going to be because all of them were so invested during the entire trial. She says she was sure they would want to know the outcome. Reporting in Brunswick, Caitlin Ross, 11 Alive News.
And we have in-depth coverage of the trial.